It's time to chill out, get your coffee, and get your slip on. This is the Fortean Slip Daily Dose. Oh, that kid went on a fucking hoot of a fucking adventure. No, trust me, that drug would fucking make you, like, go further than you've ever gone in a masturbatory rage. And then they see this UFO or whatever it is, this diamond-shaped thing. So, and then 3 helicopters come whizzing in and everything takes off. I don't know if I buy it, motherfucker. Did Bigfoot come out and tickle somebody's balls? Alright, you hooligans. Fortean Slip Daily Dose starts now. Happy Monday, or something like that. This is the Fortean Slip Daily Dose, episode 6. I was gonna become a witch, but I couldn't stick to the craft. Today I'll talk about how I got into ritual magic at a fairly young age. How I still have a fucking lung infection because I'm cursed with horrible lungs. Day whatever. But yeah, happy Monday. Yeah, I got into, not like I didn't jump right into ritual magic right off the bat, but when I was really young, my father, who by no stretch of the imagination is a, super intelligent guy, very good with mechanical shit. You stick him in front of something that's mechanical, he can fucking do it in an instant. Try to debate the multiple world theory with him, and he can kind of keep up. But at a very young age, he tried to talk to me about religion. I was young. I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I remember we were sitting on the bed and he tried to explain to me that our family was Protestant, but that he didn't quite believe that way. And that he saw the universe as the sum of God. And that we were just a little part. But we were all a part of God. And that was this talk he had with this little child, and I can't remember how fucking old I was. I was really young. I had to have been around 7 or 8. No shit. And at that point, my parents had always had talks with me that they probably shouldn't have had it way too early of an age. I was allowed to do things that I probably shouldn't have been allowed to do at way too young of an age. Hey, it is what it is, and it was a different time, and I am who I am today. So, but my father had this talk with me, and, it kind of resonated with me. Then he had gone to England to visit my aunt, his sister. And he took his mother, and he went over there with his girlfriend at the time. While he was over there, he had picked up... No, wait a minute. I can't remember if that was when he picked up the tarot cards or not. Or if it was when he went to Arizona. Now I'm confused. It's been a long, long time. But anyway, at one point, when I was young, scratch all that other bullshit, my father picked up a pack of tarot cards. And it was the original, not the original, I guess you should say the original. The one everybody goes to, probably your standard deck, which is the Rider-Waite tarot deck. I'm not going to go into the specifics on it. but it's just your standard symbolism in a tarot deck. You get your minor and your minor arcana. And, my father, after he had gotten them, he brought them home and kind of did a little reading there, showing me how the cards laid out and worked and so on and so forth. For him, it was just like a little joke, but for me, it was like a world of possibility because I was extremely young, extremely impressionable, and I didn't understand the implications of the tool because tarot cards are a tool. So I just jumped in with, I can fucking see the future. This is great. Yeah. And I'm harking back to something that I said in a previous episode of the Fortean Slip, something that Aleister Crowley had said, which is, if we can just understand how the river runs, we can put ourselves in a better place somewhere later on down the line. So yes, I do believe in that. But out and outright divination to me, it's a stretch. I think it's a perspective thing. So, he shows me these things, and a world of possibilities open up for me. So I start, delving into shit in the library. That was my first foray into it, was I would go into the library, I would take out books, I would try not to let my parents see the books, especially my mother. My mother was against it. My father really didn't give a shit, but my mother was kind of against it. So I would hide the books, read the books. But there's so many books, and there's a plethora of fucking information and bullshit out there that you gotta learn how to sift through it. And I kind of spoke about this on one of the other shows. And I'm at a point where I believe that, all books can have a grain of truth in them. And all books might have just something in there, even if it's just one phrase that makes you realize something, then it was worth you purchasing the book. And I don't know if anybody understands what that statement means, but when I did, it kind of changed how I looked at things. And I don't necessarily look at buying books, or when it comes to this genre, or looking at books the same way. So, I went balls deep, just all fucking in, at the library. And then I can remember going to what was at the time, and we don't even have one up here anymore. I don't know if they're even around anymore. I have no clue. I would go into Walden Books and peruse their New Age section and look at the different decks of tarot cards. And I always thought that the other different decks were really cool. Not quite understanding the symbolism. So, that was where it all started. I kind of found early on that a lot of the different religious practices that are all summed up in this New Age genre were all very similar. The same types of ideas. I've had, during the course of the show, pictures of altars or setups running through. And I just wanted people to get an idea that everybody's different. And all these things are all very, very similar, and they're all kind of tied in. And maybe this one's for someone who does ceremonial magic, and maybe this one is for somebody who practices witchcraft, and then the next one is Wicca or whatever. But they all have a common core, and I think that's the one thing that I want to relay, is that there's that common core of belief structure. Nobody is wrong. But at the same time, it isn't as if everybody is right. It's a perspective truth thing to me. Because what's true for me today may not be true for me tomorrow, and wrap your head around that. But I wanted to, demonstrate that there is a common core. But the book that kind of changed my life, as far as how I looked at quote unquote magic, which now I look more at magic as a personal belief structure to better oneself. And if bettering oneself helps you further on down the line, and that makes you some all-knowing, all-seeing being or something, fucking so be it. But to anybody who thinks like they're going to go out and, become a fucking high wizard, the only place you're going to fucking become a high wizard is in the KKK. And from what I read today, Anonymous has their fucking Twitter account. But I got this book by Donald Michael Craig called Modern Magic. And at the time, it was 11 lessons in the high magical arts. And I guess he's released a version since, which is 12. So we've gone from 11 to 12. And I don't buy into everything that he has in that book. However, the structure of how it was set up and how it's relayed and how I was able to come to the conclusions of what this system was for me, that book changed my life because I saw it in a different light. I'm a very mathematical person. Ritual magic works for me because it's very structured, but yet you can still have your own artistic symbolism within it. I think all of it's artistic and it's all very personal. I basically just wanted to, let everybody know how, because I brought up on the show before many times that I dabbled in stuff before. And I had wanted to bring up these experiences I had and how I got to where I was. I met a good friend of mine a long time ago. He was the one that introduced me to that book. And I haven't seen him in a really long time. But, he just challenged the way I looked at the world and how I perceived right and wrong and up and down and black and white. And it really made me see things from like I said, it's perspective. I saw things from a different perspective and was like, oh, that's why. Or now I get it. And that's something that can't be taught to people. You can't just go to somebody and teach people these experiences. You have to show them the path and kind of let them go their own way. But these systems can be very very personal and very artistic. And I'm not so much a practitioner anymore, but the core ideals of what I believe are still the same. And, I'll never let go of it. And, who knows, someday I may become a devout ritual mage, whatever that means. But that's what they call it. I don't even know what to fucking call it. So I just know that that's what it is. That's what it's called. And I wanted to lay out too for people some books, and don't take these books as the gospel. But if I were to direct people towards some books, and I won't say modern magic because that's very ritual magic based. As far as a book like that, for whatever you're looking into, just kind of like go out there and peruse them and see what feels right for you, and kind of read into it and kind of understand that all the practices they're all kind of similar, but you need to find something that feels right for you. But if I were to suggest a couple of books to people starting out, and these almost have nothing to do with the genre. They do, but they don't. They're more philosophy and spirituality based, but if you were going to get into something like this, I would say pick up the book by Richard Bach called Illusions. And it's not Richard Bachman, the fucking Stephen King pen name or whatever the fuck it is. Richard Bach. The book is called Illusions. Really short book. Great book. I read it in like a few hours the first time that I read it. The other book that I would suggest by Dan Millman is The Way of the Peaceful Warrior. Both books are just, they make you look at yourself and change the way that you look at the world, I think. If you really get into them, kind of go with it. And those books changed how I looked at the world. So some other time we'll delve into a few other things. Maybe some things that I did. I have pictures of my altar. I have my altar somewhere, and I was going to at some point show that, but I'm not going to dig it out today and put the pictures up today, but so I can kind of show you guys where my artistic vision went with it. But I guess that's about it. This has been episode 6, Fortean Slip Daily Dose. Hit the fucking like button, people. got like 690 fucking 5 subscribers. I get 10 likes. Fucking Jim Payne have like 200 accounts. I still haven't picked out a new book to read.